You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Perspective. It's Thursday night, 8:30. Here where we are, it's been a wet one, but we still counted as a plus. You know what I mean? So even when it's bad, it's good with us. So if we have any technical difficulties, some technical glitches or whatnot, forgive us in advance. Hey, welcome back to Perspective. And as always, we just like to make sure we highlight a few things before we begin. The premise of our platform and what we're here for, that can really be found right in the name of our show, which is Perspective. This is a safe place. This is a truth place. This is a place where different views, points of views, opinions, lived experiences, perceptions can be shared without too much rock throwing and knife slinging. Okay. And we definitely want to highlight the fact that everyone has their different points of views to bring to the table. And just because someone's point of view does not align with yours, it doesn't make you right, them wrong, or them wrong and you right. It just simply means that they're different. And whenever we can at least listen for understanding, that actually gives us more knowledge and that brings us closer, and coming closer together, being able to operate on commonalities more than the things that separate us is really what we want to do. So we welcome you here. So feel free, get active in the comment section. Do not be afraid to share your perspectives, your opinions, your views, and your lived experiences, because it may highlight, it may enlighten, and it may assist someone. So never hold back from doing that. So Doc, you want to kind of talk about what we're gonna be going into?
Oh, no. It's not a show if you don't say Eric, aka the intellect, aka.
All right. So again, we've been doing this a while, but I will introduce myself. This is Eric Butler, aka the intellect, aka the Atlantic, because I'm cold, deep, and choppy. aka colored in the 8, because I'm the biggest diamond ever found on land. I'm telling you, I'm 3,000 plus carats, and that's where you have it. So hey, I'm a father, grandfather. I'm in talent acquisition. I'm a fairly decently read man. I've had a lot of different experiences, and I try to share those things to challenge and evoke thought. And so that's what we continue. That's what I'll continue to do. So I'll let my wonderful co-host, aka Doc, go ahead and introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us. My name is LaToya. I am a licensed professional counselor, author, speaker. I really love to help people heal. And then personally, because that's professionally, I am his wife and they mama. So we gonna do the comments, and then we can just jump right in.
All right. If you see, that's Mr. Ben Sutter III, and if you can recognize that BS and 3 right there, he puts the BS3 into the BS3 network. He says you can support BS3 network by sending stars. Stars help us earn money to continue building the network, and we thank you. We
do.
All right, Snowman Multimedia. Hey. The pronunciation of that. I'm gonna say Seguin Girl Steph.
I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, so hopefully I said that correct. Thank you.
Hey, girl, hey.
Mr. Jay Gilliard. That's my partner right there. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Hey, Snowman, how are you this fine evening?" And Mac LaShawn said, "Right, Doc. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna try to have a show without saying cold, deep, and choppy." Not gonna happen.
All right, that's awesome. So if you've looked at the banner on the bottom, it talks about the title of the show is Learning Fatherhood. Who taught you?
Who taught you?
Who taught you? So to be a little different, there was something we want to use. It's kind of going to be a reactionary show. We're kind of responding to a clip that we saw. And we're going to be sharing that clip. So it's about 45 seconds long. So just indulge us, kind of pay attention to it. It'll formulate some thoughts, and we want you to get active in that comment section. All right, here we go.
And the way in which they raised us. Whoever taught black men to be fathers? I think we're doing a good job considering, an excellent job considering what we've been through. We were never meant to be men. We were never meant to be fathers, because if we were fathers on the plantation, it meant that our children would listen to us before they listened to the person upstairs.
Great point.
And the moment we had any type of control on the plantation, they sold us or killed us, because they had no room for anybody with power, black people on plantation. So now here we are, 1865, so to speak, and they emancipate us, and now we're supposed to be fathers. Well, who taught us how to be fathers? From cradle to the grave. We're never fathers. We had no example of what a father was. The best that we had was Fiddler. Kunta Kinte had Fiddler. That was the best he had for a father. Now we're just coming up what Bob Marley calls our sleepless slumber. And now we're coming to realize what a father really is.
Deep. I have so many thoughts. So I'm just gonna dive right in. I want to start this conversation, this dialogue with saying we understand that Black people are not a monolith. We understand there's an exception to every rule. We also understand that, yes, there are people who are trash fathers, and we are trying to talk about this from a broader perspective. So all of that, like little nuance, can we get that out the way so that as we speak, we are free to say what we want to say, right? My first comment on this video is that he said we were never meant to be fathers. Now I only saw the clip. Let's be clear. I only saw the clip. I didn't see the entire video, but I think that we were never meant to be fathers in America. I feel like that's implied, right? Because in Africa, like, we was doing our thing. So can we agree to that?
No, no, I definitely agree to that. I mean, but that's the and you're right to differentiate.
Yeah, we just want to frame it, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, because but that's the group of in question that we would say that's where the lack of is involved in, is in America. And it always kind of stir people up. He talked about where that came from. And then even after 1865, even though you're emancipated, I mean, there was a lot of things missing. I mean, you weren't listened to.
People were getting arrested for standing on the wrong side of the street. So right. I don't know that we could just be like 1865. Like, it was years of oppression and years of like inequality and just trash, garbage.
Trash is a good way. Trash is a good way to describe it. And I would say, a lot of the systemic racism and systemic systems that are in place right now still advocate and create those type of issues.
We've talked about that on the show before, because in order for a woman to get welfare or to get government benefits, she couldn't have a man in the house.
Say it again.
Are we going to choose the man, or are we going to choose to feed the kid? We're going to feed the kid.
Mm-hmm. So we'll just start off with questions, and I know it will kind of spur off, and individuals will be able to kind of share their thoughts and feelings on it. But so what does fatherhood mean?
That's my question to you, intellect, because I'm mommyhood. So
right,
what is fatherhood?
I mean, I thought about this, but it's hard for me to shake my thought, because the immediate thing comes to protection, the protection of your responsibilities.
Right.
And I'm familiar with Dr. I think it's Kama, and I can't say his last name right. But I've seen some things on him before, and he said something interesting, and I think he may have said it on that interview. He says people miss the fact that responsibility is really two words. It's your response to ability, to your abilities. And so it's the way that you handle things. So what talents or gifts you have, and as men, to protect your women. And that was something we weren't allowed to do and didn't have the ability to do. To protect your children, that's something you didn't have the ability to do or were allowed to do. And a key element he said in that comment was that we weren't even allowed to be men. So you think fatherhood, the root of that is being a man. And if that hasn't been passed down, if that hasn't been cultivated, then man, you ain't no telling what you're liable to get when someone is just learning on the fly.
But okay, so I'm gonna catch us up in the comments, but then I want you to come back. Like, what's your definition?
Yeah. Hey, what's
Hi,
going on?
Facebook user. It's Justin. I'll get there.
Legacy is an answer. Okay. Simple definition of the state of being a father. Yeah, I feel you on that. He says what that entails is different for every person. Okay.
Right.
And that's Justin. All right.
Hi, Justin.
So anyone who sees Justin's comments on Facebook user, he's a father, and a hell of a one too. So someone I know. Anyway, with that being said, on my definition of fatherhood, I just think protection, provision, and of course mine is influenced because of the men that I've seen in my life. And then also from my youth, and then being a father myself, just seeing to be able to compare and contrast. And just simply put, a father is a protector. He is a protector over the things that he produces.
I like that.
Indeed.
I don't know that I have a definition, more so of like, I know it when I see it. I think that where some people fail is because they are heavy on the providing and less on the nurturing. And some people are heavy on the nurturing and less on the providing. And I think there has to be like a nice balance of both.
Balance is the word. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you got to provide, but you also have to nurture and teach them things and be there for them and support. You know what I mean? Like, you got to provide. You got to have a house. You got to have food. 100%. But I think that there's another piece that sometimes people don't tend to have a good mix of both. So again, I don't know that I have a definition, but I know it when I see it.
Right. And I think that on fatherhood, when you talk about that, but if you could, think about it. Let's be real. If a man is nurturing, very nurturing, he's doing all those things, people are going to look at him cross-eyed because like, what you're not protecting, there's no provisions being brought. You know what I mean? You're not. If there's an issue comes up, we look to the father to have answers. We look to the father to come up with solution. And that's just real now. I don't want, we talking about fathers today. So we'll get to mamas some other day. Let me put that precursor out there. We're going to get to mamas too. When we say fathers have to do, that is not an automatic statement to say mothers don't do those same things or can't do those same things. Similarly, just like most people would think the mother is more nurturing, which they are. I think they're wired and designed and absolutely built, because the father can love his child as much as he wants to, but he can't feed them. Not out of his body. So I think that's just a clear sign that there's a separation. So if we're talking about fathers, typically it's really that it's providing an environment and providing the resources so that the mothers can so they can protect in their own way, they can nurture in their own way, and do all the things that they do differently, but the men would provide that. Because I think nurturing from a man may be just playing with his child. Nurturing from a man may be just introducing his child, going fishing with him and not saying a damn word can be nurturing.
That's still nurturing for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, comments.
Mr. Ben Sutter III. Good evening, sir.
Zahaya.
Zahaya said, could it be more of an action instead of a simple definition? Sounding like a small genius right there. We know that that's some influences, positive influences are rolling around in there. So definitely. And I think Mr. Jaggi mentioned that can be, it can be different things to different people, what that nurturing or what fatherhood is. Um, and and I think that's what we want to highlight. Yours may not look like someone else's.
Right.
And that person's situation or experience with a father may not look like someone else's. Um, Miss Steph, I'm gonna say that.
Yep.
Miss Steph, she said, in our American society, it is inadvertently taught men. It has inadvertently taught men how not to be a dad because of putting a lot of guys in jail. When divorce comes along, giving the mother the child, giving to the mother the child, just pay support, etc. Well, no, I guess that's a thought. There's some people, there are some individuals who think long as you're providing financial support, that was being a dad. Because there's guys, because there's men that have that, they didn't have maybe the financial resources to just send and buy everything, but they're there, want to be a part, and they've been described as deadbeat dads. From my not my personal experience, but understanding individuals in that situation,
like the ones who at the soccer game but can't afford the cleats, they call them deadbeats.
Yeah. I mean, really, the deadbeat. I've definitely heard if you ain't coming with the bread, you a deadbeat. Not to calling your daughters or your sons and trying to be a part of them and guide them and saying I can't feed you out my pocket, but I got some steaks over here. We can definitely cook them up and I'll feed my baby that way. It's like if you can't take care of two households, you're a deadbeat.
Yeah, that's kind of tragic because this is America. Like everything costs and everything costs a lot.
Hey, that's
And
real.
so if all you have is time, like so I just feel like in life you paying time or you paying money. And if you don't have the time, you got to have the money because you wasn't at the soccer game, but you paid for the cleats, right? But then if you don't have the money, you got to have the time. You can't not pay for the cleats and not go to the game. Like that's not a thing. You have to pick a struggle. You don't have to pick a struggle. Yes.
If you now she said you have to pick a you have to pick a struggle.
Yeah, like
I don't know. I judge the heart of a man.
That's what I'm saying.
And I look
because
at
if he doesn't have the money,
he might not have been able to be at the soccer place, and he couldn't buy the cleats.
Oh, now he can figure that out.
That don't mean his desire wasn't there. Now that don't mean he didn't get the football cleats when football season came along.
But we ain't got there yet. We were still in soccer season. And I'm Facebook. Justin, he said he agreed. Come on, agree.
No, I'm with it. That's okay. No, I'm here to open up all of the doors and all of the windows. Okay.
Pick a struggle.
No, because it can really be that way. So back to the video and digging more into just the different segments of fatherhood, because really this is about learning how to be a father. So I think we've kind of established there are so many different aspects and thoughts of what fatherhood is, what it consists of, and how it can be viewed, right? So everybody's you get to walk away with what you want, but let's just open up some ideas. So just some things that we have to consider that were mentioned in the video, the disruption of family structures, that some in recent times, based on, as one of our commenters mentioned, based on mass incarceration of Black men, and then also not being able to even be a man, stating back to pre-1865 and slavery, and then even after that, not even understanding or you didn't have no provisions, you didn't have anything to do, and as you said, you could get arrested just for standing on the street because they was trying to get them back onto, but they just wrote laws, moved the goalposts, and they could keep you in slavery that way. That's where sharecropping coming from. That's just another way of servitude. So, but I'll continue. Zahia says, I think Black fathers are finding their own way to define fatherhood because everything that was learned is rooted in systemic racism.
Who's her mom?
I think everybody knows who her mother is. That if they didn't, they should. If they didn't, they
My
should.
child.
I think that's Justin says, use them for both sports, football, soccer, and football.
Okay, I'm just saying.
No, that wouldn't work though. That just wouldn't work. I've seen it tried and it wasn't successful.
So I have a question. So men weren't allowed to be men. Nobody taught men how to be a father. But at what point is it like, okay, nobody taught us? How do we learn? Like where is this was really tragic. It happened to us. Oh my gosh, but we got to do better. Where's that at?
I think the foundations of our current, as Zahia said, finding our own way. They just used white men as an example. Everything that we do is infused with this European and Anglo-Saxon perspectives on what fatherhood should look like, the structure, even the structure of our family and how it operates, the desire of where we live, what we have, what we drive. It's been driven by that. I don't even think enough time has been taken to really sit back and consider, to just really intrinsically think about what you would like your fatherhood to be like. I think it's more prevalent now because the conversation is coming up and just over trial and error. So you take what you know, and then at least you have the bravery to evolve, and this is what I do. Things that produce good fruit, I'm going to copy that. And then my own essence will infuse into that. And the things that I say are detrimental or cause harm, I'm probably going to try to make some adjustments and cut that fat meat loose. As far as fatherhood.
I also think something that may be helpful is like thinking about when you were a boy, what did you not like? What did you not appreciate about how you were being raised? And not from a place of like, well, I ain't appreciate getting whoopings, but like from a place of like, I didn't appreciate how my feelings weren't validated. And so then maybe taking that and allowing your children's feelings to be validated. It don't have to be that, because I know men got to be hard and we ain't got feelings and we got to be solution focused. I know that's just the only example I could come up with.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest on that. I'm not gonna stray away from that. Men and the boys and the girls are gonna be raised differently. I will definitely validate the feelings of my daughters than I would my sons. Now I don't have sons, so I don't want to get confused, try to put no kids on me. But with my daughter, but I've had the influence of young men, and that just has to be a different thing. So I will listen, but I'm gonna tell you that, and here's the caveat. I'll give this to you, Doc. Definitely when your children speak, male or female, listen to them. Listen to them.
Didn't listen to us.
Because I know now that's the change and the difference in which I would say I would implement that you recommended and suggested. I am much more patient to listen to what they have to say, but I'm not going to change the fact like, okay, I've heard that, but here's the facts. Regardless of how you're feeling right now, A, B, and C still have to get done. That's today, tomorrow, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and beyond. That's just a part of growing up. So I'm going to make the practice so hard that the game is going to be easy to you. So as a father, I'm trying to raise warriors if they're young men. I want them to be a little bit more stoic. Yes, you can express yourself, but after that, F your feelings and let's go get done what needs to get done. Fatherhood 101.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm not. You want to read the comments? Hold on, let me see.
No, hold
Okay.
on. When you said I'm raising warriors, the only thing I could think about was Deontay Wilder saying, I'm a warrior. I want to go out on my shield.
Well, I mean, that's how you have, I believe. I didn't see him say that. I don't know what that was, but what he said, he wanted to go out on his what?
So, okay, you know that fight that last fight when they threw in the towel for him.
Oh, okay.
You don't, oh my gosh, this was the thing. You don't remember this?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I'm not trying to downgrade that other man's struggle, but I don't know him. But it was like a big, not black man.
The gypsy guy, the big gypsy
That
guy.
guy,
I know.
that guy. Okay, so you know Deontay won the first one.
Did he?
Second one,
he lost twice. He lost twice to that dude.
He won one, right?
Nah.
They fought 3 times. He lost twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not the point.
Okay.
The point is, the people threw in the towel, like, stop the fight. We're done with this. It's over. And he was furious. He was getting dog walked. So they threw the towel. And he was like, I'm a warrior. I want to go out on my shield. And I was like, so when you just said, I'm raising my son to be a warrior, that's all I can see.
Yeah, but not a fool. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna die. Not in no boxing ring. So
that's how he was.
No, but I feel him. I think to go into those type of arenas, you have to. Okay, because I'm sitting in this chair and it's AC, and it's years past. I definitely operated from that mentality at a certain point and period in my life. So I can't knock him on that. What he's doing, and when you're battling against other people in competition, especially one that's as dangerous and physical as boxing, I would keep that mentality. But I think raising a young man to be a father, you have to have equally that type of mindset, because the world is even a much greater opponent.
I'm not mad at it. It's just the first thing that came to my mind, and it gave me a beautiful laugh that I needed.
Now I'm glad you got it. So we'll read the comments. Mr. J. Gilliam said, learning how to be a father comes from other Black positive examples of fatherhood. And also Mr. J. Gilliam said, examples, Uncle Phil, Heathcliff Huxtable.
I used to want Claire Huxtable to be my mom.
Ain't nobody gonna say James Evans? Okay, we're gonna leave James Evans out.
From Good Times?
I just said James Evans. You knew who I was talking about. We're not finna hate on James.
That man was scary as a kid. Like, I know.
And most of us know a James Evans. And think about that generation. James Evans was the epitome of what was going on.
But he also didn't have the opportunity or the space to feel his feelings. He probably was sensitive and probably was depressed because they was living in the projects and they didn't have nothing. But I'm just saying he didn't have the space and opportunity to feel his feelings.
Then this is what we need to recognize. That was a large majority of Black men. And James was considered a high-level one because he was there with his family. It was times, I know they had episodes where he was like, I'm going to go off to somewhere and be away from the family to try to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it did a great job of kind of covering that. And what people need to realize, those suppressed emotions and have to just be strong, being willing to do what you got to do for your family. Yeah, that was a great synopsis and peek into what was probably the reality for a lot of different people, for men and fathers.
Okay, we got to catch up.
Yeah, Mr. Cole Sports says, good evening, lady and gentlemen. Good evening to you as well. He says, Eric, I remember my father at 15, after he got on me for not wanting to dig a fence hole, said, the reason why I am this way with you is because I want you to be better than me. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. You felt that, didn't you?
Yeah, because hard men make easy times.
Okay.
You know, and you need to what you don't do is become soft. So hold on just a second. Cold Sports says my father is the biggest warrior I know. And salute to Cold Sports Senior is what we're gonna call it.
Okay,
Now,
this is what we need to know. The
okay, you
Fury
said
Wilder trilogy went as follows. Fury won the second fight via TKO, and the third fight via KO. The first fight was declared a draw. Oh, that's why they even did it again, because he didn't lose his title because it was a draw. I really thought he won that first one, so that's my bad. Thank you, Cold Sports. I knew he lost them other two. I knew that.
and Miss Steph says the kitchen and the bedroom. Ooh, we got to dig into kitchen and
Yeah.
the bedroom.
Yeah.
Mr. J. Gee said James Evans was before my time. My bag. I didn't mean to date myself and date you at the same time, Mr. J. Gee. Got these youngsters running around here. No, all jokes. All jokes. Mr. Cold Sports says my father was a James Evans type when I was younger. He mellowed on me as I became a man. Yeah, because he put the groundwork in and got it set firmly like that fence pole. He didn't have to do a lot of work afterwards. You know what I mean? So so that is a great depiction. And I think we can see that with the changes of the generations, because right now the fatherhood is and has been under attack, but I think even more so now than later. What are your thoughts on that, Doc? Do you think fatherhood is even more under attack or less under attack?
Can we define under attack? What does that mean?
Devalued.
Yes, I do think that fatherhood has been devalued from a sense that, like, I think men who are deadbeat daddies get more shine than fathers who are doing the right thing. I think that we are so quick to focus on, oh, look at this single mom, she's blah, blah, blah. But nobody ever says, look at this single dad, he's amazing. I think that a lot of times the contribution of men can kind of get lost in the shuffle when it comes to doing the right thing. So yes, I do think it is under attack.
Okay, I do, because and I think about then that even leads in to think about the men. You know, what kind of men are being produced and generated. Let's say over the last, when I say men, I mean they're at the adult age. Over the last 2 or 3 decades, just like what they're looking for, what they're willing to engage in, the way that they view their responsibilities, or the way that they respond to their abilities to reproduce, to be able to be a provider, a protector, a problem solver, as well.
Can,
And go right ahead. What would you
can I
say?
jump in?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
absolutely.
lose my train of thought. So I think that it creates a vicious cycle. If you have a boy raised by a single mom and he's watching that single mom do all the things, when he becomes a man, he is now looking for a woman who does all the things. Women are not doing all the things anymore. And so now he can't really find his footing with the woman who gonna do everything that his mama do.
Mm.
And so they having unprotected sex. She gets pregnant. He dip out because she's not doing what his mama did, and now we have another single mom, and then it
What
just keeps going.
Look, well, so what? Well, this is a sidebar, but as far as how men are looking, so I guess it applies. I just want to be clear on what you say when he won't, the women are not doing what his mama used to do. What did his mama do?
His mama was working, cutting the grass, cooking food, washing the windows, making all the money, making his bed, washing his clothes, packing his lunch. She was doing everything. Everything that it takes to run a house, he watched his single mom do that.
Mm. And he
And so
expects.
then now he's with you, modern woman, not his mama, and he like, why you can't do it all? Like, my mom was cutting trees
I,
and making
man,
lunches.
it's hard for me to imagine.
No, it happens. I see couples.
A
I've had a man
man,
call his wife lazy. She worked a full-time job, had a thriving side hustle, and was homeschooling their kid. He called her lazy. So I ran down the list of everything she did, and he was like, well, on a Tuesday, she didn't cook my dinner, and I felt like that was lazy. But see, and so I asked, I was like, tell me about your family dynamic. He had a single mama. I've seen it.
That's yeah, that's unfortunate, because I'll look at him like, oh, okay, that's how we feeling. All right, she chose him. Bless her heart. We'll read the comments. Ms. Cold Sport says fatherhood has been considered a joke. Look at sitcoms and how they depict fathers as a comedic foil, and the mothers as the no-nonsense parent. Hey Cole, list some of the examples of the shows that you're thinking of in that.
I feel like she was amending me with my cycle example, because that's when I saw it pop up. But feel free to say if you were not amending me. I don't want to. Oh. When I was saying like it becomes a vicious cycle.
Yeah, we got to keep up on that because we want to interact with them. So JK, you said at Cole Sports, you're right, and the mothers are overly strong and stoic. Yep. He says, and I hate seeing that at Jay Gilliard. Indeed.
I think the Cosby Show is a good example of that. Dr. Huxtable was a fool. Like, Claire ran that house. At least in my memory. Maybe I need to go back and watch an episode, but I remember her handling it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a show that I'd be like, nah, man, other than Good Times, it wasn't no like strong, domineering fathers. Well, let me see.
Uncle Phil. I feel like Uncle Phil was all right.
They
had a little money, so he could be a little loose.
He was a little different, right? Yeah. Uncle Phil.
Carl Winslow. Harriet ran that house. Yeah. So, let me let you know, baby. Harriet Winslow was not here for it. Okay, you let me tell you that.
No, that was too unrealistic for me. That when you said him, I just couldn't help but laugh. I'm sorry, everyone. Let me shake that off. Mr. J. Gee said, me too, because it raises damaged women who call themselves strong, independent, and are really scorned and void of feeling, which they
probably were created to be.
Feeling what they were created to be by the Creator, and to be which is soft and emotional. Excuse me, everyone. Maybe y'all can read that one properly. Code Sports says shows like Home Improvement. Okay, I remember that.
Hey, hold on. What's Home? Oh, where he had the Home Improvement TV show?
Right.
That okay, yeah.
He definitely was the comedic foil all the time. Everybody Loves Raymond, definitely.
I didn't watch
that is a prime example of, if you want to be a simp, that's what you do. I think I liked his dad more than that, but he was goofy too. He was hard and goofy.
I didn't watch that one.
Full House.
They didn't have a mama on Full House.
Yeah, that don't even count. But I see what he mean. And Family Matters, as you.
Baby, Harriet was that one. Okay.
As you mentioned. Different aspects of and we're at the like a little bit over at the 40-minute mark, just to keep us in line, because we'll get the rolling and won't think about it. So are we and we mentioned some of the things that have disrupted the idea of what fatherhood is within our community, with Black men specifically, the mass incarceration and the slavery. But are we relying too heavy on the impact of slavery and using that as an excuse?
I don't think so. I think that everybody wants us to hurry up and get over slavery, and it was so long ago, and oh my gosh. And so while slavery could have been so long ago, oppression wasn't, Jim Crow wasn't, systematic racism is not. The little baby Ruby Bridges, what's her name? Ruby Bridges, the Black lady who integrated schools, she's 66. She's younger than my dad.
I don't think people realize that. They do. they really don't have a concept of time and the distance of just how recently these things happened.
Mhm.
Um, I think when was Dr. King killed? 68.
My daddy was alive for that too. So
You know what I'm saying? And we don't like I came not too long after that. You know what I mean?
mhm.
So we see the videos and we think that was just so long ago, and it really, really, really wasn't. Think how bad and how contentious it was just in 1968. So it didn't change and get better that day.
Right.
It
And
didn't
I
get
think
better
that
even. Yeah, go ahead.
it's not better now, if we're being honest, but
Exactly.
I think that when people say we're relying too heavily on it, I think that they are uneducated on the effects of it. Slavery and oppression lasted longer than freedom. And so, like, we're still not, you know what I mean? Like, we're not that far removed. The lady is still alive who integrated schools. She's not dead.
And Doc, you talk and you can speak to this more readily than I can. Um, the effects of traumas being passed down from generation to generation. And
Mhm.
so to think that that long of a time, that level of trauma, not still having some remnants and being passed down, the disconnection, just thinking emotionally, like you after a point in time, you don't even develop to get tied to your children because you know that any time at any moment they could be shipped off. So why even do that?
Right. And not
Um,
even that, like, we're not even taking into account the breeding plantations. So there were plantations specifically for breeding, right? And so if we'll call him Kevin. So if Kevin is on the plantation with Keisha, Sally, and Amy, and he's breeding with them, so like he's having sex, but it's not making love. There's no emotional connection. It's like, let me get this lady pregnant so that I don't die. There's no connection to her. There's no connection to the baby because I'm trying not to die. Right. And so you have all that trauma, all that psychological stuff going on. And that's actually in our DNA. They've done studies on it, how trauma is passed down through your genes. And so you can expect that level of trauma, along with the myriad of other things that happen, to just be gone because, oh, we got emancipated.
right,
That's
right.
crazy.
Yeah, it would be crazy to think that that has no impact of today, and that is a wide thought. Not only in the colonizer community, but in our community as
That's
well,
crazy.
which is unfortunate. Let's catch up on the comments. So we you want to let them go too far. Mr. JK said, yes, those were all the comedies where the fathers had roles that were less serious. JK said, y'all got to give Carl his props, though. He handled business.
When?
Well, I mean, no, they never, their lights weren't off. They all had, life
Oh, he
insurance,
worked. Okay.
that type
He
of thing.
wasn't James
He was a police officer, that type of thing. So, and he tried. He always gave he's giving advice to now. I think on progressive life insurance. He's a TV dad.
Evans?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
it's a commercial to have going. I was just trying to make a joke. Nobody got it. That's okay. My
it's
fault.
okay. Somebody got it.
Yeah,
This wasn't me.
this Doc, the Cosby Show had that element. However, the Theo Cliff scene where he said the line, "I'm your father. I brought you in this world, and I can take you out," was memorable, and it
Yes.
was,
Yes, it was.
and it was, it was. Mr. J. Gee said, "At Cold Sports, you are right." And
Hey.
Miss Butler says, "Hey y'all, oh my God, I'm late." And if people don't know, that's my
I'm
baby.
just assuming that she was working. Sis do lashes. I just was assuming she had a client.
Right. Oh, y'all have no idea. She owned it. I'm very proud of her. Cold Sports says, sad to think women slaves were called wenches and
Mm-hmm.
men slaves bucks. Real
Mm-hmm.
inhumane when you think about it. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Mr. J. Gilliard said, so what is the fix for the slavery? Because we talk about it a lot, but what is being done or should be done to fix it? Well, I'll say this. I'll say this, Jeff. Man, I definitely don't want to rest on the laurel and say, "Well, that's what happened, and this is why we the way we are." I think every day when we do have examples of good men, fathers who are just trying to do the best they can by what they learn and they know is all that they can do. On the other end, I think to my co-host, Doc, she's a licensed therapist and she's having those conversations. She can sow those seeds, try to help individuals with those circumstances. And I don't think there's a large demographic of healed African American therapists, in my opinion. I think the numbers and the percentages are low because it would really take a lot of work to do that. And at the end of the day, my solution now, what I would say is, men have to take accountability, look at the effects of what's been done, what's good, what's bad, and then take the meat and throw away the bone. And then at the end of the day, us men, hey, let's find a way to rally around each other. Let's charge each other up. Let's encourage each other and influence each other to be fathers, to operate in a manner that can kind of break that cycle.
I agree with you.
Mr. Jiggy said, Alexis, welcome. I was holding it by myself. Welcome, though. Mr. Cold Sports said, that's a great question at Jay Gilliard. And Mr. J. Gilliard said, thank you. And Alexis says, hey, Mr. J, I see you holding it down.
So I think one thing that we can do is to continue to heal. I think you can't heal what you can't speak. You can't heal what you can't acknowledge. And so for me, the reason it's brought up a lot is because it impacts everything. It impacts our diet. It impacts how we move. Like you said earlier, it impacts where we want to live and the things that we want to own. And so I think because it impacts everything, the conversation keeps coming up. But once you know better, you have to do better. So if you recognize, oh, the Black man was considered a buck and there was breeding farms and that's why there was no attachment, recognizing that then means what? Go get you some attachment. You got a baby out there, like, go hug them, go throw the ball, go buy the soccer cleats. So I think to say this is what happened and this how we gonna do it is the equivalent of saying, well, that's how I've always been. I don't think that's it, but I don't think that you can't not talk about it.
Yeah. I have to work on the fact that, like, I'm just like, man, I made decisions. This is what I'm doing, and it's on me, and just really bypass what I would say or some of the influences or outside actions or elements that impacted what choices I had and how I moved. I can try to make the best decisions, not hold anyone else accountable ultimately, but I think it's foolish to ignore things that really influence or impacted your life, your perception, your perspective, and how you had an outlook on things. I look back over, one of the individuals, I'm an uncle, Uncle Charles. Man, I respect him. I don't think I could really properly express like what he means to me and the example that he has been for me. I would rank it. It was life-saving if I would to say so. And I've always admired him, especially as a father, and as a husband. Just the way and there was times when I was young. And I can look back on it and know I didn't know anything. I'm like, man, that's harsh. Why is he so hard? And why is he so harsh? But I gravitated to it. I'd ride my bicycle to go over there and get that discipline. You know what I mean? It was structure in the home, very principled. There was a way things were going to go, and that's how it went. And it wasn't necessarily raising your voice. It was like if I said it, that's what it was. And I was like, man, that's pretty hard. But being raised by your grandmother and your mother and spoiled in a sense, not understanding that. And but I remember sitting down and asking him about, it wasn't me that necessarily asked the question. The question was posed to him, I think at his 40th wedding anniversary. They made a big deal of it. Talking about tuxedos, gowns, beauty, kids presenting. They all look stellar. They're beautiful, successful. And someone asked him about, how did he learn to raise his children the way he did? He said, I just did the best I thought to do. I thought it was profound for me. He said, I just did what I thought was best at the time. I just did the best I thought to do. And he asked, but you can look at the fruit that was born out of that. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I thought this may have been a little rough. He could have done this a little differently. But God dang it. That fruit that's hanging out that tree it's like good peaches. Can I get a napkin? And it's good stuff. So I think we have to. Sometimes if you don't know what you don't know, and if you don't know, look, find a good example, copy that, and then infuse it, and then you infuse your personal essence of who you are into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And then, like, don't be afraid to read a book or ask for help or watch a TikTok. Like, it's so much information out there now. Like, if you don't like what they're saying, then maybe try the opposite. So there's this thing called A/B testing where you try A and then you try B and then see which one worked out best for you.
Okay.
You could do some of that too. So just adjust until you figure it out, because I tell people all the time, like, I encourage people to read parenting books, but I encourage people to read them with a grain of salt, because when they was writing that book, they did not know your baby. Your baby could be the exception to the rule. Right. So you have to take it with a grain of salt, but at least try. I think for me, it's the trying. Like, try to learn to be better. Okay, so we are working with a deficit. We got a late start to the game, but we in the game now. So try.
Yeah, and if you don't have a foundation to build off of, then you got to have something. So if that may be reading a book, talking to someone who's been doing that. But again, I love that, Doc. You say take it with a grain of salt. Always, trust your own mind to a certain degree. Unless you jacked up, and then hopefully you'd be honest with yourself about that.
Be honest with yourself,
they won't, just make sure you healed. You know what I'm saying? At least you can take constructive criticism. That you understanding that you don't know everything and you don't have it all figured out, right? I think many people, even when we're a principal, and I'm guilty of this, I have a thought, this is the line we're taking, this is what I have experience with, but I think you can benefit by at least opening, like our show, just have an ear to hear and to understand from someone else's perspective. Right. And you can take the meat and have a really good meal and throw away the bone. And I've done that. So from the uncle that I mentioned, my other uncle was very prevalent. My Uncle Ricky was very prevalent in my life, someone that I held at a very high regard. And I took a lot of attributes from him, a lot of attributes from my Uncle Charles and other men that I had met throughout, coaches, just seeing them in certain circumstances and situations and how they maneuvered, the decisions they made. Some I was like, oh, that didn't go over well. And then some I was like, damn, that was okay. I never thought of that. And I see what it bore. And then at a certain point, you are who you are. You're right. Learning what you're learning. Mm-hmm. And if you put that all together, I think you will find yourself landing in a very, very good place.
I agree. I like that. You should have said that in like 7 minutes, because that would have been an excellent stopping point. Like, that was perfect.
I done wrapped up I done gave my closing remarks, so they won't be getting one from me tonight, because I won't be. Now, with that being said, but what is I think I've answered this throughout the night, but I would definitely like to get the feedback on I've said my piece, but if you don't know how to be a father, how would you say, or how would you think, or what would you suggest people learn?
Let me think about that. Read the comment, and then I'm going to come back.
Mr. Cold Sports says, another misnomer about fatherhood is that they are always inflexible. The best ones were stern, but extremely loving.
I like that.
I like that too. I think me and Mr. Cole come from a similar generation. That's just my guess.
So, let's see. You said the question was, someone who didn't know how to be a father, what do I suggest they learn? I suggest they learn the art of listening. because if you can listen, you can intake new information and potentially learn something to help you be a father, whether that be from your own children or from another trusted adult. So I would say learn to listen.
I like it.
Mhm.
I
What
like
would
it.
you say?
I'm gonna save it for my closing remark. No, the way. No, I just said it. I would say to pay attention, see people who are producing at a high level, and you'll know. Like I said, you know good fruit from bad fruit, good
Mhm.
circumstance from bad circumstances. If you see someone who is showing an example of good fatherhood, take from that. Take from the best that you see, and I would say take from various individuals, and not just one, but several, and then those things that resonate with you and probably fall in line. And as you practice those, then you'll see what works, what doesn't, and then I think that helps a lot. Um,
I like that.
but some people, like I mean, some people they Cliff Huxtable was what their example was, and it probably worked for them at some level. I think it lacks a certain level of reality, because those scripts, people are going to respond a certain way. You know what I mean?
Right,
Uh,
right, right, right.
where you don't always have the answers there. But Mr. J. Gay says, my dad was stern, and it created a person that was a rebel without a cause when I got older. Interesting. Mr. J. Gay said, and a sensitive person. Okay.
So
And I think
interesting
that goes, yeah,
combination.
now say that. Go ahead, Doc.
That's an interesting combination.
Yeah, no, and I think that one of the interesting things of that is you don't know, like, like you don't know exactly what will be the results. That's the importance of staying open minded, looking at various different forms and ways of addressing things, and to have more than one tool in your toolbox to address circumstances.
Right, right.
Um, One of my favorite books has a quote in it. It says there's a time for everything under the sun. So there is a time that you have to be all of these things. So,
Right.
and then the main thing is to prepare yourself as much as you can possibly as a father to be able to deal with all the multiple facets of things that will come. And I think fatherhood, starting back when we were all in on the continent of Africa, thinking about that was in place. Those how you were going to do, what was expected of men, how fathers operated, those things were taught and passed on. Like that was an expectation. Like you will be a father, and this is how you conduct things. We know that chain was broken, during the transatlantic slave trade. So right now, it's maybe looking back into to those examples and trying to implement that. But it's hard. And don't be afraid to maybe experiment and create some things that are new, because
Mhm.
you definitely are. This is a new time, new day. You're dealing with different minds. They have access to much more information, which can dictate how things land and what you utilize to do it. So be open to it.
I also think that I think you said it was your uncle who said, I just did the best I thought to do. I think that's it. I think you never know. You could have the best intentions, right? You could tell your child, hey, don't run out in traffic. And then your child will grow up and say, I can't cross the street because you said don't run out in traffic. You know what I mean? Like, I think you can have the absolute best intentions and it still not go the way you want it to go, just because you're dealing with the human and you don't know how people are going to take things, and you don't know what's going to stick and what's going to make a person feel some type of way. And so I think he had it right. You just do the best that you think to do. And like, your best changes every day. And as you gain more information and you gain more experience, your best may change. What you thought was the best yesterday might not be the best today.
Absolutely. And being open to that. No, I think exactly, Doc. And Doc, I think we're going to close out on those comments because I can't think of anything that would be countering that. And I definitely would advocate to men to take heed of those words in that process. So as we wrap up, definitely want to thank everyone for being with us this evening. Thank you so much for our commenters that were in the comments, keeping it rolling and asking great questions. Make sure that you go to BS3 Network, look at all of the different shows, sign up with us on all the social media platforms. Also look for Perspective on our Instagram page. You can find our Facebook page and join so you get the notifications when we come out. And of course, it helps for you to like the content, and it definitely helps when you share the content. And that's for all the shows. I promise you won't be disappointed. You're going to get some of everything on the BS3 network. So we want to thank you. We appreciate you for being here. And Ms. Cole said, great topic and wonderful discussion. Thank you for having this conversation. Absolutely, Cole. Absolutely. We appreciate you for being here. So thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week, next Thursday at 8:30 here on Perspective.